All right, so we're shifting gears a bit from one AI topic to another AI topic. I hope you're still with us today. And here's the agenda for today. We'll talk a lot about Microsoft Copilot Studio. We did a small poll in an app, and it's not like many people responded, but you ask a question, how many of you try to use it for real? And some people said, yes, we did. Someone say, kind of hello world. And here's my favorite option, but I not only when it's mentioned. And actually, it's a pretty interesting observation, because Microsoft do a lot of marketing work to make sure you're aware about the products and capabilities. Maybe it's too much. But the good question is, why would you care? Like, why would we, as an audience, as a people who work with Business Central every day in a developer role, would truly care or be curious about Copilot Studio? So I asked Copilot to help us with that. And it's there might be multiple reasons, and just kind of list some of them. But I think we truly believe that it's a really great tool which you have today for real, not kind of artificially, but for real, which allow you to extend your practice, help your customers to bring real AI usage to them. And that's a big deal. And therefore, we would like to reflect on this part for this presentation, show you what you can build, and things like that. As a Microsoft, we provide like a community with a lot of tools and ways to achieve things, from bringing AI to the end user, like, for example, maybe my mother, who kind of maybe in accounting role, and she loves Excel, and kind of very nice technical user on some basic level, to empower organization and team to go very kind of pro-dev way and build very advanced integrations. And the truth is, BC community is somewhere in the middle. Like, we are inspired to bring a lot of automation, autonomous agents in the world, and ERP is the place where you can make it happen. If you think about that, it's really a field of work we can make a difference with, let's call it AI for now, versus maybe some other fields where people work. So therefore, we're going to focus today on Copilot Studio to show you how you can enrich your BC proposition with things we can offer.
Exactly. So Copilot Studio definitely is your single-step end-to-end tool that provides a complete life cycle for designing agents. It's definitely also a good tool if you want to extend Microsoft 365 data. And you can do all that by connecting your data, your knowledge from Business Central and bringing it to Copilot Studio. So with Copilot Studio, we can create chat experiences for both customers and employees that are not only intelligent and secure. And in the recent 2 years, the Copilot Studio has made so many improvements that these agents now can be completely autonomous, customizable, and collaborative. So let's take a look on how Copilot Studio can function as a platform. The way we see it, there are 3 foundational pillars of building and maintaining agents with Copilot Studio. There's the design pillar, there's the enhance pillar, and there's the manage pillar. We're going to deep dive in each of these pillars, and we're going to show you how to build an agent with each of these steps. So let's start with design. If you're new to Copilot Studio, or if you nod knowingly, whatever your response was, this is the way you can get started with Copilot Studio if you want to build your agent. You can either start, these are the ways, you can either start with a pre-built agent. So there are a lot of pre-built agents that have been developed in recent year in Copilot Studio, and you can just use one of them as they are. But you can use either templates if you want, or you can build an agent from scratch. And if you're a low-code developer, or if you're a pro-code developer, you have all the ways in Copilot Studio to get started. So you can get started with Microsoft 365 Agent SDK if you're a pro-code developer and if you'd like to develop agents using advanced tools. Or you can just use the UX a visual canvas that has that has gotten many improvements. It's a modern UX to build agents. But if you just have an idea and if you just want to talk to the Copilot, so you can have a conversational experience as well, and that's what Evgenij will start showing you.
Yeah. So what we're going to do for the next half an hour, we basically take you step by step how to build, enrich, bring some logic, intelligence to the Copilot, and then we'll tell you how would real users could use it, what you just built. So to build a new Copilot, like we use word Copilot, but now all labels get changed from Copilot to Agent. So I might be still confused, but it's the same thing. We build something intelligent for users who can help with the given tasks or solve some problems. You can press a new button and create in a couple of clicks, obviously. But what we just did, we pre-created a small agent. And for now, what's important to be aware, you can change an icon, and you can say, like, really? But yes, you can bring your brand, obviously, and you define what you want to do. In this particular case, we want to build a small Copilot which can help us to answer employee questions about vacation statuses and how to procure new equipment. And it's a really like a demo example, but it really illustrates very nicely all the data integration we're going to show you today. Now, when you build something like that, how do you express what Copilot can do? In a Copilot Studio, you can define something called suggested prompts, or collection of initial questions which should be or could be answered with this Copilot. So in this case, we can help with vacation updates, but it can also help with the procurement of equipment for the employees. So it's really easy. It's press a plus button, describe what your Copilot need to do. And it's a little bit like maybe like a skill and a magic. In our particular case, we're saying, hey, you will assist employees in our organization, and you can use data from Business Central, from other systems, to solve a number of given tasks. You can also select a model, if you care, just saying, which we'll use behind the scene to enable a lot of integrations. One of the most important settings, absolutely hidden and hard to find, somewhere in settings, is the following. Is use generative AI orchestration for your agent response. What it really means, it means you put yes by default for all your work going forward, and a lot of magic happens. But basically, it's enabled new capability, which we're going to demonstrate to you basically for the next half an hour. Exactly.
Very important setting.
Very important setting.
So now we know how easy it is to get started with Copilot Studio. We should also now know what are the basic building blocks that we need to know for building an agent. So there are a few essential blocks that you would need to know. There's the knowledge, which means whatever existing resources, files you have been building, you can bring it to Copilot Studio. There is tools, which means this is the way to, these are the tasks and processes that you have in your line of businesses that you can bring to Copilot Studio and build agent with it. There's the orchestrator, which allows you either to have a control on set of things that an agent can do, or you can have automated triggers defining the next set of steps given a user scenario. So you have the logic and autonomy both there. And then finally, there's the user experience, which is channels where your end users can see what you have built. So let's take a look closely in each of these blocks. Knowledge allows you to create an immediately useful agent. It's like the best way to just build a very productive agent. All you have to do is bring your data sources to Copilot Studio, and then agent, based on that knowledge, can respond to the user, and you already have a creative chat experience. There are multiple data sources included in Copilot Studio. We'll see what we have built with this example.
Will we?
Yes.
All right, so knowledge. It sounds quite easy, actually, but when you create your Copilot agent, you have an opportunity to decide in which reality should this Copilot be grounded, so to speak. And you can bring a lot of what we call knowledge. For example, you can say, based on all the documentation, which is very dear heart to me in my organization, I would like to answer given questions, and so on and so forth. Very straightforward. In our simple demo, we're basically saying we add 2 knowledge sources, some public website, which we trust, like Microsoft documentation about Business Central, and we also upload some files which provide some company policies about employees and some vacation statuses. And in the real life, it probably will be SharePoint folder or some database, but for example, just CSV file is fine. But the idea you can upload data in which your Copilot should be grounded. We use the word grounded, what it means, it refers to this as a truth and nothing else. And you can start asking a question like, is it allowed to take 2 weeks vacation in a row in my company? Like, if you just, let's see what Copilot can help us with. Obviously, we expect it will reply in a context of what we just discussed. So you say, yes, actually you can, and it finds some source and some links on some of the documentation we just uploaded. So response is grounded in a truth, which we as an organization believe is good enough. When you test your features, you can enable something called activity map. So let me run it again so you see how it works. So now we're in a test mode, and we're asking the question for a Copilot, and then we can see runtime or real time, what is behind the scene. In this case, it's a straightforward question about knowledge. It went to the knowledge source. You can kind of go ahead, expand, and build your confidence that the system works exactly as you defined and exactly as you want it to do. Just saying, small things. That's about knowledge. We can add more knowledge.
Yes. Let's go to another building block, tools. So this is where I would really love to have your attention, because this is where you, as an AL developer, AL consultants, can contribute by bringing Business Central data to Microsoft Copilot Studio. So what does tools do? Tools basically allows you to build an agent that can do and complete tasks based on the data from your line of business applications. And there are enormous amount of choices of using which tools in Microsoft Copilot Studio. There's the pre-built connectors, including our Business Central connector. If you're aware with Power Platform Business Central connector, this is, and it basically is a component that allows to bring Business Central data to Power Platform. It's the same component that will also allow bring Business Central data to Microsoft Copilot Studio. And all the same features are available. There's the custom connectors. So if there is more you want to build, you can build your own custom connector and bring data from any source, including Business Central, to Microsoft Studio. Then there is the agent flows. Now, if you're aware with Power Automate, this is something like Power Automate, but integrated within the agent experience in Microsoft Copilot Studio. There is prompts, which is very recent. And this allows you to basically talk to LLM in an easy way and let your agent run the Copilot experiences. There's the skills, there's REST API, and then there is our favorite topic, Model Context Protocol. So there are a lot of tools available with Microsoft Copilot Studio, but let's see one by one some of them. There's the agent flows. This one allows you to accelerate your agents with rule-based workflows for structured tasks. So if you know, for example, I want agent to run these steps to place an order in Business Central, then this could be your tool. There is prompts. This can be used when you want to guide your agent to use the LLM to perform certain tasks. Now, this is very interesting because here you have the options to sometimes use out of available templates for prompt if you're not into prompt engineering yet. But you can also just get started from the scratch for writing prompts. Let's see some demo on how we can integrate with our agent. Evgenij.
All right, back to agent definition. We talk about knowledge. Let's look on tools, like real work. What's happening behind the scene. in this particular way, we give our Copilot a lot of way to work with the data. You can maybe see familiar icon from our connector to Business Central. You can see, I will show you flows, prompts, but you can also integrate data to other services. Like in this case, I just talked to Exchange service to get some information about my employees' profiles. Now, we can go ahead and add a new tool. And if you want to add a new tool, you can have a lot of ways how you can bring data with your custom APIs or accessing to Business Central. You can use connectors. We can start typing Business Central. If I can do it right. Maybe we can do it right. And maybe there's a search working in Microsoft products. Let's see if it does. Yeah, it does. So you can go ahead and add action from our connector to do some things. For example, let's take a look on that tool. So we have a tool which can help our Copilot to answer our employee questions about available equipment which he or she may purchase. So in this particular way, we're saying that we're going to use our connector to find records, and you can see we can basically just call our API for a given environment, and we receive some data back. Now, obviously, it's hard-coded. Obviously, in a real life, you'll probably use something like environment variables, so you can publish your solution. You have your invariable definition, what is your environment, so you don't hard-code your connections. But for a demo purpose, it serves us very, very well. Another interesting thing about this connection integration, there's a property called running under user auth. What it means that back in the Power Platform world today, there's always like a question, which account is used to run my automation? Is it me? Do you have permissions? Do you have like a system super account which can do everything for integrations? In a Copilot world, all this connection will be running under user permission. So the user who asks a question, if he or she shall not pass some security permissions, it will not going to happen. So super convenient. You're basically saying the user will be run with him or her or his permissions to get the data. And now with having this connection, you can start questions like that. For example, we can start saying, just to test it, I need a new laptop. Show me all we have for employees. And again, if you can enable activity map, maybe not here. Just a kind of very simple use case that we enable our users to ask questions like that. And then the way how we describe the tool, this connector, it will come here, it will come to Business Central, it will fill out all the parameters, get the data back, and now we can bring this data to further conversations. For example, here we ask about all the different models, and you can go ahead and say something like, just an example, can you tell me more about another model? Okay, maybe I'm rushing a bit with the demos. But the idea is that that data become part of your conversation, and you can continue work with it. Okay, so let's get back to tools. What I maybe a little bit rushed to mention, we also made a description when to use this tool, and we said, if you want to retrieve information about available laptops, basically call me, and I'll do the work. And that's how our orchestration knows to answer these questions. The next type of available tools you can do is to create what we call prompts. Oh, Monica said we love prompts. So we have a prompt which allows to find a specific information about given laptop model. Maybe you don't store this data in a database. You probably don't. Maybe you want to reach out somewhere else. So in this case, we're saying, if you want to have more details about laptops, call me. So let's take a look what this me means. In our particular case, we have a specific prompt who would like us to help to answer questions like that. I'm going through a couple of clicks, next, like edit, to get to the essence, but that's just how it is. Yeah. So we have a very short prompt, like write a short summary about this device based on a given information. In this case, you would say, knowing the laptop name, we can go ahead and do a good job. You can also, when you create those variables, you can also create some sample data, which is super handy. So now I can go ahead and say, OK, let me just try to test my prompt and see if it works right away. If you develop that part, yeah, like a small prompt. And now it will just use this kind of test value to give you some results. And of course, you can say, return top features as bullet points. So it's all very flexible, all very real, and you can play around to see what you want to do with that. And again, maybe you want to have text back, maybe you want to have JSON back if you want to integrate, and so on and so forth. You can also select the model you would like to use for that. And that's where it becomes very interesting, from a primitive task like describe data about something to maybe do some much more advanced research, summarization, and bring significantly more context to answer the questions. For our demo example, we're just saying like, find some descriptions, but you can go significantly further with that small approach. And that's why we like prompts, because they work very, very, very well. And that's how, in my previous example, when I asked more information about the laptop, Copilot could answer because it went on that path. Another interesting tooling, what you could add, and maybe you should add, is to start adding more complicated flows. So now assume you want to have a question, not just show me things, but do something for me. Create approval, create an order, notify my manager, things like that. In this case, we can create a flows. So in this example, we have a flow which will be used to order equipment for employee. So if employees say I want to purchase get equipment, basically call me and I can do that work. And behind the scene, we'll have a flow, like a classical flow which we know and love from our experience. So here I have a flow. I just wanted to show you that. And that flow is quite sophisticated. Is that the right word? So it's kind of, I need to scroll a couple of times just to see how it's built. So it's basically taking like a business process to try to understand the context, create business central requests. And if I don't know what to do, I can always say like, hold on. I can always say like, what does this flow do? Super handy if you need to analyze like a complex flows, but basically saying the flow is designed to handle equipment requests, and then it describes to you exactly what it does.
Yes, and here you can also see that this is another way of using Power Platform Business Central connector, because you can see there is one action with the Business Central icon where it's connecting to Business Central data. So you can directly connect your agent through the connector, or you can use via the flow the connector.
Yeah, so in this way, we'll just take a request, understand what does employee want to purchase, and create an order in the Business Central, and we'll show you, obviously, to you how it works end to end. But the idea, you can create sophisticated workflows, and then say for a Copilot, if this action has to happen, call me, I'll take care about that. And for this particular flow, the only input we need for our demo scenario is the equipment name, what he or she need to purchase. And in this case, we have a property called dynamically filled with AI. So Copilot will understand from the conversation what the discussion was about and use that input to kick off a workflow.
Definitely.
All right. So maybe just to summarize quickly, you can use connector to connect to Business Central. You can create very specific prompt to do work. You can call or execute complicated workflows, and then you can connect to many, many things like MCP, but we'll cover it later in the presentation.
Yes, I just want to add one more thing, which is the custom APIs that you would be creating in your extensions, they will be also supported through Business Central connector. And you can always also create your own custom connector if needed.
Of course.
OK, so we got the tools, we got the knowledge. Let's go through the orchestrator. with the setting that Evgenij enabled in the beginning in the create phase, that's generative orchestration, basically that allows the agent to understand, given the prompt, to understand what tool to call or what knowledge source to call. But if you want more control, there's something in Microsoft Copilot Studio called topics, where you can define a set of things that agent should do given the user's prompt. So that's topics. But that's not what I want to emphasize on this slide. There is the triggers that's very recently added in the last year, which allows your agents to be completely autonomous. So imagine a scenario where you would want your agent to listen to an email and then do something based on that. You can do that by adding a trigger, like you would do it in a Power Automate flow. There's an option to now add a trigger to your agent. So that also helps with orchestration. And the last building block of building an agent is user experience. So we built all this, but where would the user see it? So that's what we call channels. Once you build the agent, you can just go and deploy your agent and publish it to one of these channels. There's again a wide range of channels available from Microsoft Copilot Studio, including Microsoft 365 Copilot, which means the existing Microsoft 365 Copilot can be extended with your custom agent that you created using Microsoft Copilot Studio. There's also the third-party non-Microsoft channels available, be it Google's Business Manager or Apple's Message for Business. So there's multiple channels. So let's see our agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot.
Yeah, so we build a Copilot. You have this button called Publish. Maybe I need to avoid doing that, but you can select where would this Copilot need to go. In our case, we'll say, let's put it where our users really are. OK, so let's see how would it be all used for real life from real people. So I'm an employee of Cantos organization, and I'm starting my work in a browser like that, maybe with some ads, maybe without. And I work here, or I live here. Maybe I should click the wrong button. I can start being here. How many of you customers are Microsoft customers who has Office licenses everywhere? Yeah, all our customers are Microsoft customers, which has a lot of Microsoft licenses everywhere. And they might look with Office, with the documents, with their colleagues, collaborate every day, do all real work, and many of them can use Microsoft 365 Copilot. So I'll start my work like that. So I now need to get a new laptop. How can I do it? So I can just ask my Copilot, how can I get a laptop again? Because I did this demo multiple times. And who might know? Maybe I'm a new employee. I'm working from home. I don't see a lot of people that often these days. And Copilot can really look across all my organization, like not about Business Central, but the real data, and say, hey, Evgenij, you already pushed something yesterday, but if you want to have a new laptop or another laptop, please reach out to Monica. Maybe she knows how to get it done. Because we have some history through email conversation that she somehow is involved in procurement, and I'm not surprised. She knows people.
I can help by telling you we have this agent that we can use.
Of course. So Monica telling me, Evgenij, if you wouldn't be lazy, you can discover all the agents available for you as an employee in our organization, like my Contoso agent, which we just built. So I just did it. I deployed for myself, and here's my agent. So I just click on it, and the first thing you see, remember all these prompts we defined, what this feature can do or could do for the user? It's right away here. So instead of me figuring out what this can do, we have some initial, how do you call it? Get started suggestions, exactly. So I don't need to guess or look on this empty screen, panicking what do I need to type, which happens all the time. And of course, you have some prompt libraries if you want to be creative, but I know what I want. So let's go to our basic flow. I have some, notes. I'll repeat it a bit, but you'll see how it goes. I'm slow in typing, much better in copying. Yeah, show me what's available for me. And now my Copilot will go back to Business Central, file all the laptop, and say, hey, here's what's available for you. And while it's doing that, I can obviously show you something more sophisticated. Yeah, so it's come back. What it had? Show me what you have for employees. Nah, it showed me employees. That's not good. Show me all laptops. Yeah, thinking about second step of demo when first didn't work that well is not a good strategy. But now, yeah, the Go to Business Central, it came up with laptops and can give me some different variations. And now I might say it's all good, but which one would you recommend? You know, maybe it's too hard for me. Compare those, give me the best. What is within my approval range for that price these days? Wherever it might be. And then it will say, hey, what would it say? It will say, Surface and Lenovo can be a good choice. Then I can easily say, obviously, cool, place an order for Surface. Like, I want that one. And obviously here I probably have a workflow saying I need to get approval from someone else, and so on and so forth. But the idea is that now we kick off that workflow. That flow I showed you before, and it go ahead and create an order for me and place an order in Business Central. And we can also always remember, give a links back so I can click on it if I have permissions to. Maybe my manager get notified with that card, and he or she can click and say, yes, that's the right order, and go ahead and approve it. And here's the order we created all together a couple of seconds ago. So again, the main idea for me as a normal user to be able to reach out for data, which is grounded in some truth, be able to get this self-help kind of help, and also take an actions. Now, also in a real life, what I would probably do, because I use Copilot for work a lot, I can also say, hey, maybe I want to kind of save this information for the future, like we use the pages as a way in Office to maybe save some kind of piece of information as you work, and they can say, Monica, you know, maybe I want to give you access so she know I have this order. Again, I'm working with the real people, and I say, thanks for help. And of course, you know, she's get notified, and we can continue discussion and kind of getting this so handy. So again, as an employee, my experience was I should be able to discover an agent in my view of work with the tools where I'm present. As a user, I not necessarily even care that Business Central exists. It's just another system somewhere else. But I can interact with this. I can kick off pretty sophisticated workflows, and so on and so forth. Now, let's back to chat for a second. I can also access my agent differently. We have this feature called Chat with Agent. In case you have multiple of them, I can again discover, you know, the same agent and go ahead and start chatting with it right away. So you have pretty kind of sophisticated experience how the employees or users will experience agent in a kind of not disruptive field of work in the apps where they are.
That was pretty cool, Evgenij, to have like our custom agent right there with Microsoft 365 Copilot. So we have built an agent. We have seen it, how users will use it. So what's next? We can enhance it. And how do we enhance it? We enhance it with integrating with Azure AI Foundry services in your agents. There is multiple features available. You can bring your vectorized indices. You can bring Azure AI search. You can bring more than 1,900 models available in the Foundry. And all of that, you can be a pro code developer and bring it to your agents. But not only that, you want to know how your agent is doing in production, so you can monitor your agent, and there's an analysis activity tab integrated right in Copilot Studio, where you can see data-driven insights. You can know how users are doing, how's your CSAT score, are there any errors, what are the escalations, everything that you would need to know in one place about the agent that you built. Design is done, managing is done. Design is done, enhance is done. Let's go to management. And then this is where basically admins will play a role. So there's a place for Copilot Studio or they will be available soon for all of us, in Power Platform Admin Center, where administrators can go and manage all the agents that they have built. They can manage the life cycle, they can manage the access control of these agents, and they can even decide when to roll out which agent and staging and all that. So one place for the admin to do the management of the agents. So we have almost 10 minutes, and we do want to cover this, which is, it was in our description, which is what's new, what's very recent in Copilot Studio. So we want to go through these. There's definitely Agent Store that is generally available. This is a new marketplace. Imagine like an app store, but for agents. Yeah. So it's Agent Store. Naming got right this time. So there's a new marketplace for Microsoft and Microsoft agents, and also for your agents that you will be building, where users can find and install agents from this store. You can also share these agents with colleagues, and you can to have the agents in this agent store. There is a rigorous validation to make sure that the agent is doing the right intentions, and then we can have the agents in the store. This is my favorite, this multi-agent orchestration. This actually enormously increases the capabilities Microsoft Copilot Studio offers, which is you can make one of your agents talk to another of your agent. This will be soon public preview. It's actually already being rolled out. And this is where you can connect your agents with other agents, and then have a basically nested agents within each other and talk to, and so you have enormous opportunities to make your users boost productivity. Evgenij, do you want to talk about more for deep reasoning?
Not really.
No? Okay, let me do it. So there's the deep reasoning in prompt, where now you can have access from one of the models in Azure AI Foundries. It's the O1 model that is very good with deep reasoning. So it's imagine like talking to a person who is very good with deep thoughts and reasoning. It's similar. So every time it will perform an action, it will actually think more deeply and come up with more thoughtful responses. And that model is now available from prompt tool that Evgenij showed. But you do want to talk about Microsoft loves MCP.
Yeah, so how many of you heard this acronym before? Okay, how many of you heard this acronym 2 weeks ago or months ago? Yeah, okay, what about 6 months ago?
Good, because there wasn't.
Yeah, it probably was created like 6 months ago, 4 months ago from Anthropic. But yes, Microsoft loves MCP, and what it means, if you go to the next slide, it's something like that. Yeah, do you have a feature? Awesome. It has SMP, I'll buy it. But with all seriousness, it brings a flavor to a lot of LLM and AI integration, which is really a big deal. You kind of standardize, in a way, how all the features talking. And for the developers or the ISV as a partner, it gives you an ability, a hope, a path to maybe extend all the LLM features we do or someone else does. And we'll talk about it in a sessions later today and whole the event. But for Copilot Studio, what it means is, if you go a couple of slides before, yeah, we'll skip all that. Yeah, we have a demo. So everything we're going to show you right now from a lab, which probably has a very, very high chance to be true in a short future, and we can do that. Yeah, I can do it shortly, quickly. I'm in the Copilot Studio again, and as always, I want to bring more tools. So the point is that we want to bring more ways, more power to Copilot to do actual work. In this particular case, Business Central become a server or the source saying, I can do a lot of things about items, customers, orders, and things like that. So in a way, stay with me, we say Business Central can magically answer all the questions which you can ask in natural language about ERP. And if you need to create an orders, figure out who owns your money, figure out all still not approved invoices, I can help with that. That's kind of a promise. We become MCP server, which allows our chat to start questions like that. So we say, and then let's enable, Nika, help me out. We can say, show me latest quote from BC. Like, that statement by itself doesn't have a lot of meaning in a real world, but what's happening here is that Copilot Studio runtime can understand you need to talk to Business Central. It's probably about business sales quotes, and maybe that Cine can help somehow with that.
If you want to show tools as well.
Yeah, it will come. And small caveat, that URL has something called pre-prod or pre-production, meaning this feature is not shipped yet, but it's kind of on a path. It's not developed yet, it's kind of rolling out slowly, and it's obviously, okay, let's just refresh it for a second and try it again.
This is from the lab. The Business Central MCP server is from the lab. We're still cooking it.
No, it's pretty good when it works. This is the demo which Ida showed in the first day when she was an Anthropic and she could create a quote from completely another experience in a very kind of nice way. It does not collaborate. Okay, and that's fine. But the main idea is that in Business Central, right now we use APIs like customers, items, sales quote, and also maybe custom APIs which you're going to build. And based on those API definitions, we're saying Business Central can do all that work and call us if you need help. And any large language model feature like Copilots can now talk to Business Central and get these directions, which kind of raise the level of integration by bar, because before you specify very specifically what is my all data queries and properties and values, now you kind of have one layer above saying more like abstract way, help me with this work, and then we'll say we'll figure out. That's the promise, and that's why we are so excited about MCP, and we are working on that. Let's make it one more try. It has to fly to environment in US. It's not an excuse, but and get some data back. Unbelievable. Okay, so show me latest quotes from BC. Okay, so now something's happening. Yeah. So in this particular case, it figured out that maybe here's an API called sales quotes, and maybe latest means that field based on the metadata, sorted mean latest, and maybe top means 5, maybe 2 or 3, and just kind of, again, transforming your intent, if you will, to actual calls and bringing some data back, so to speak.
Awesome.
One more time. Maybe I need to pause here and say it one more time. You express the intent, what you want to do, and get data from Business Central. MCP definition and tool definition allows to convert this intent to very concrete API calls, if you will, and get the data back.
Definitely. And what is even nice to see is that if you actually go to add a tool.
Yeah, let's show it. If you go to tools, and we want to add a new tool.
And you can already see in here, there's an option for.
Not yet.
Yes. So if you click here, you could probably see. Oh, sorry. If you go back, yes.
Yeah, it was here.
Under here, you can see there are multiple MCP servers already available in Copilot Studio, which means there's also a lot of tools from these servers that you can use to build your agent with.
And that's what we announced on the build from a dynamics level of view, that all of the products like CRM, BC, expose MCP servers. So now you can go ahead and get data from CRM, create orders in BC in all kind of on a natural language, being in Anthropic on other surfaces. And that's just lovely and very, very nice, everything.
Definitely. Okay. So getting to the end of it, this is the whole life cycle for building and publishing and analyzing and improving your agent through Copilot Studio. And what are the key takeaways? I just want to say that you can use Copilot Studio to build your custom agents. You can connect Business Central data to Copilot Studio. You can work with your custom data, custom APIs. You can publish on multiple channels. And you can actually bring AI to the real users. So please stay up to date with the AI journey through Copilot Studio.
And maybe another takeaway, because I had a conversation last night, like, why would I maybe pay attention? You have a all busy life and busy jobs. And if you pay attention to what's happening in Copilot Studio, you're literally almost up to date on a industry and technology, because all the latest innovations, ideas, we just mentioned things like deep research, MCP, they all come into the product with incredible speed. So if you just pay attention to the product, try it out, you're kind of almost up to date what's going on, maybe as a decision maker. It's just a nice area to observe. Microsoft pays a lot attention as a product group and as a company on it. We have a lot of bets. Just saying.
Yes. It's time for Q&A. We have 5 minutes, and first 2 questions get some T-shirts. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Oh, we need to throw it.
Nice.
Thank you. Yesterday, we were presented with these beautiful agents fully integrated into BC interface. And my question, how can we empower those agents by giving them those tools, those connectors, so they can do more than just interface? That's the question.
Yeah. Great question. Maybe we should repeat it one more time loud. So we showed you yesterday in keynote native Business Central agent platform, which can you can define a path or a flow, we can automate it as the BBC user. And how does this relate to that? That's really the question.
Yes. So we already have a sales order agent that you learned about that's native to Business Central. And the idea is basically you can build your agents in Microsoft Copilot Studio using Business Central data. That could be one way of integrating it. But the agents that you build using Business Central platform that is native to Business Central will be surfacing in Microsoft Studio. At least that's our plan, to allow makers to build even more integrations around it.
Maybe I will add to Monica's answer. So it's unrelated as of now. Within Business Central, we give you the platform to define with the tools you know and love, with Ailcraft, with your extension. And as we show you this playground, you should be able to describe a business process, and then it just runs on an experience within the product. But in many, many, many real life scenarios, you go across products. Business Central is awesome, a system of record, but I have this and this and this and this and this. If you want to automate across, Copilot Studio is a tool. That's really how it is.
Yeah, but we will be able to access this Copilot Studio agent from our Business Central interface.
There is a lot of great question. How can I interact and reuse capabilities so you don't reinvent a wheel, for example? And we are working on that all the time. I think right now we have Business Central, Copilot Studio, and every month they're kind of moving the direction closer and closer. But that's how it is.
Great, looking forward into it. Thank you very much.
We do as well.
Do you mind passing it? Thanks. Just. Oh, not a good catch.
Okay. Another question we got in the app is classic. What is the licensing?
There's a question here in the audience.
Let's take this one and talk about
Yes.
licensing if you're curious.
Worked.
It's concerning the licensing, also the same question from the app,
Okay.
maybe. Assuming I have a small company as a customer who says they want the agent to use, what is the cost model for them? Do they need something extra? Is it included? What do they need?
Yeah, great question. And the question is, what about money? What would it cost to roll out? How can you pitch to the end user? We'll bring it for you, but what is the price tag?
Yes. I just want to start with, we are definitely not the experts on licensing, but what we want to convey the message is that with Business Central license, you do not get Copilot Studio rights as it is. You have to pay extra.
Yep.
So that's the first message. There's some Power Platform usage rights that you do get, but not with Copilot Studio. And pretty much Copilot Studio uses something what we call messages. And we charge users based on messages. And there can be either you can buy message packs or there is also now the new option of pay as you go. So and that's the way we go with Business Central. It's a bit more complicated because there is the how many messages does it take, and there's more like which agent is built with how many MCS messages per turn. So you would need to read terms and regulations, but this is the overall licensing that you would need to know.
Maybe also to add to that, as a Microsoft, we want to empower makers you to build stuff for free. And we give you kind of predefined packs. So you can, the same with our BC agent, we give you some capacity, you can try, experiment, and build. But when you implement, a customer will have to pay for some consumption. There is some models to consume it based on packages. And if you look on our agents on a KPI, we're always showing you how much money we believe that thing is saved for you. That's how we articulate, run an agent for a couple of days, take a look how much money or time or work effort it saves for you. And if you're good with that, how about implement for you something similar? But that's the conversation we're having to put it to masses. But it's a great question. And we are out of time.
Thank you. The time is up. And thank you so much for your time. Hope you find this information.